defending his title. Johnston with a mark of 30-1. And online, 63% of you thought that Johnston won round 4. You would have thought a lot more of you would have thought that way, with Castillo having had a point deducted.
It's possible that fine point was lost on the voting public. Just to clarify, if they take away the points, Stevie Johnston won the round. It's a 9-9 round in points. If you had Castillo winning the round, I'm sorry, if you had Castillo winning the round, it's 9-9. If you had Stevie Johnston winning the round, it's 10-8. Castillo backing up more than he has in earlier rounds, Al, but Stevie Johnston not able to take advantage of it to land the kind of combinations. And look at the jab get in there from Castillo. And all Stevie has to counter with is just kind of walk in and not get anything effective done on the inside. Not let his hands go, not put the combination together, not counter the punches of Castillo. This is a very subpar performance by a man we were calling one of the best fighters in the world. For those of you who hadn't seen him before, you're wondering what we were talking about. He's going to have to pick it up considerably if he wants to make sure of this win, Al.
I think the most interesting thing, the most relevant thing that Johnston said this week was, I don't look for a knockout because I might get knocked out.
He's a very honest kid. I mean, it's part of his charm. He's so easy to like as a guy and a fighter. When he lost the one fight in his career, he said he lost it. He said he deserved to lose. He didn't make any excuses. Doesn't say I'm going to go up and beat all the big fighters. Says, look, I'm 5'4". How many weight divisions can I go up? I'm stuck here.
And he's a guy who's also apologized to certain people in the media if the fight wasn't as good as they had anticipated. In fact, there's a very large media contingent here because in a few hours you've got the De La Hoya Mosley fight taking place at the Staples Center in downtown L.A.
Picking it up a little bit here, Al. Just a little bit of an increase in tempo and better accuracy from Stevie. Letting his hands go more and landing more. But some of those, both men threw right hands and missed. Threw home runs. But look at Stevie back out there. Look at Castillo back him up. That is not typical. Castillo must be stronger than he looks, Al. Or Stevie just came in here totally unfocused. Again, Castillo tying up the right arm. And he's got it clamped pretty good. After referee's taking a point away, Al, he'll let him go a couple more times, but the possibility is this, he'll warn him again and possibly strike again.
End of the 5th.
Stop!
WBC Lightweight Championship at stake in Bell Gardens, California. Stevie Johnston in the blue trunks and Jose Luis Castillo trying to win the title in the gold trunks. Online, 70% of you thought that Castillo had won the 5th round. He was able to, on occasion, get Johnston to back up.
Stevie can't reach him with his jab, and usually, even though he does give up height and reach, Stevie is generally very accurate with that jab. Can't find him with the jab, and so when he goes inside, he's not letting his hands go. Castillo doesn't stay there either. He's throwing isolated punches in there. And by the way, Castillo is not exactly dominating either. It's just very, very close rounds, with not a lot of this low blow there by Castillo on the right of your screen, the challenger. Both men leaning on each other here, looking for something on the inside. Castillo again ties up the right arm and hits with his right arm. This is a situation now where I think that Stevie's tried the inside, has not gotten much done inside. I think he might be well advised to try to just box him. He's got the ability, he's got the talent. He just has not found a rhythm.
Castillo is also starting to come into uncharted territory here shortly. We talked about the fact almost all of his fights end in KOs, and rarely has he gone past the 6th round. And we right now are in the 6th of a scheduled 12-rounder. Our ABC stations along the line and alert that at the end of this round we will be taking a local break for you.
And now I think that pretty subtly, I think the point that you just raised may be coming to bear. I think there's a little bit of weariness in Castillo. He's coming, he's trying, he's got a lot of heart, and you see him throwing a lot of punches, but they're a little bit more desperate. He's not as composed as he was earlier, and Stevie's punching and catching him a little bit more often. Right in front of our camera there. You see, Stevie can fight off the ropes, but generally, a Stevie Johnston will turn his man. He's staying on the ropes here, and Castillo has scored some punches.
Yep. In Stevie's own corner, Castillo turning it up.
And so as typical of so many of Stevie Johnston's fights out, this has become a war of attrition. It's a war that he's fought many, many times. It's a war his opponent has not. And let's see as we enter the second half of the fight whether he's able to bring himself to bear more than he has in the first half.
And it's a war he almost always wins, Stevie Johnston. Back after this from our ABC station. Warm, sunny day in Bell Gardens, California. We're outside, temperature about 80. There's a canopy that covers the ring, and there's a nice enough breeze coming through that is not oppressively hot. As this fight now goes to a 7th round, and it was 50-50. Those of you voting online as to who won round 6.
Yeah, I thought that actually was one of the easier rounds to score for Stevie Johnston, Al, based upon the last minute. I didn't think Castillo did enough to be in the round.
No, hold it there. Hey, you can't pull and skate. Let's go.
You heard Chuck Hassett very clearly tell Stevie Johnston that what he was doing in terms of pulling and punching, grabbing and punching was not legit. As we enter the second half of the fight, Al, and there Stevie holds himself. And I think that's a sign of either weariness or maybe caused by lack of preparation coming in, Al, lack of focus in the ring on the day of the fight. You don't know. I can tell you that this is a man who has averaged 100 punches a round for a 12-round fight. He's a man who's thrown more than 160 punches in a given round. He is clearly, there he slipped a little bit. What will happen is on the logo of our friends at Miller High Life in the center of the ring, sometimes when the fighters get wet and that logo isn't as porous as the rest of the ring and there'll be water accumulating, they'll slip in the middle of the ring. It just will be interesting to see if he is able to come up with the kind of energy and skill that has made him such a highly regarded fighter on the world scene now.
Right now he is on his way to a victory, but another of those lackluster victories. And I say another in the sense that I mentioned before, he sometimes apologizes for performances that don't live up to the expectations of the fans and the media.
You see him grabbing. That is very unusual. He is inside. That's where he wants to be. Why he would want to be grabbing on the inside indicates that he needs to take time off. He either is not in condition now or he's just not mentally into this fight.
Well, it's one of those things. And then on the other side, Castillo, as we mentioned, so used to ending fights with knockouts. This is only the 10th time in 45 fights that he has seen around 7.
And I think I'm being a little unfair here to Jose Luis Castillo, too. I mean, it's not like it's all Stevie Johnston's down. It may be that Castillo is presenting with some actual problems that he didn't anticipate, that he underestimated him. Stevie swears to us that he's never watches tapes of his opponent out. In his case, I actually do believe him. He doesn't like to do it. He just says, I'm just going to throw punches when he gets out there. But Castillo is in this fight.
Fighting so often in Mexicali, it was hard to get any of Castillo's tapes to begin with. End of round 7.
Stop.
This one figured to go the distance, has the makings of such a fight. Right now, as we go to the 8th round scheduled, 12 WBC Lightweight Championship. Champion Stevie Johnston on the right. And now on the left, Jose Luis Castillo in his first championship fight.
And Castillo's corner, again, an even round by the online voters out. Castillo's corner told him they liked what he did in that round. They want him to be the man who puts Johnston on his back foot. Stevie is not today, has not tried at all to box from the outside. So sometimes he's on the outside, that's because he chooses to be here. Today, if he's on the outside, it's because Castillo, he's trying a little bit here and then comes in, but it's because Castillo is pushing him backwards and keeping him off balance. There you see Stevie trying to move and box from the outside, but Castillo totally unfazed by the movement, lands punches, and Stevie doesn't land anything in return. And Stevie Johnston not only can take the lead, but he's a tremendous counterpuncher.
Stop! Break! Stop!
Again, Chuck Hassett calls for a break against it, but again, you see Castillo busier there, throwing more punches, landing more punches, nothing coming back from Stevie Johnston. Threw a shot there with his left, but didn't land it.
Castillo appearing the fresher of the two at this particular point.
Stevie Johnston initiating. He's being held on the right, and Stevie's holding with his right. Castillo does appear, Al, as you said, to have found his second win. Stevie generally is very able to go a 12-round distance, but he has, as every fighter would, a couple of periods in a fight of needing to take a rest. Oh, good right hand by Castillo. Right down the pipe. And Stevie Johnston, again, Al, it is so unusual to see him clinching on the inside. That's where he has to be, being the shorter of the two men. That's where he wants to be generally in every one of his fights. And for him not to be working when he's in there, for him to be initiating clinches, is evidence of the fact that he just is not into this fight for whatever reason, mentally or physically, or the ability, the awkwardness, whatever it is of Jose Luis Castillo, the challenger. Stevie Johnston is not himself today.
And what you were saying, Alex, is exactly what Miguel Diaz was trying to get him to do in between rounds, listening to Diaz talking to Stevie in the corner just above us.
I mean, both fighters are fighting. I'm not trying to play. There's not a lot of punching. There's good action here in the end of round 8. More punches landed there than is typical of this fight so far.
Great action here as the 8th round concludes.
Action from round 8. Watch the right hand of Jose Luis Castillo. Dips down and comes up with the right hand on the inside. That's an area that Stevie Johnston should dominate. Alex Castillo holding his own.
Alex, a tough fight to score. In fact, 54% thought Castillo won round 8. As this one comes down to a climax, we have to keep in mind what happened in the 4th round with the deduction.
And again, you saw Castillo. You're right, Al. That 1-point deduction by the referee, Chuck Hassett, could be critical in a fight as difficult as this one is to score. You saw Castillo's feet, his right foot, again, as he tried to get power, go out from under him in the middle of the ring there. A lot of action at the end of the last round. Both men coming out a little bit tentative here in round 9. Right hand to the body by Steve Johnston. Needs a lot more digs to the body to take away the legs of Jose Luis Castillo. Remember, we're getting into Never Never Land here for Castillo, Al. This is really, to use the term of art, uncharted waters for him.
Absolutely. Again, only 3 of Castillo's 44 fights have gone the distance. It's over a 10-year professional career. Castillo with 40 wins, 37 by knockout, 3 by decision. All 4 of his losses were by knockout.
And we should point out also, Al, that distance we're talking about was 10-round fights, not 12-round fights. Right. So even when he's gone the distance, it hasn't been what's going to be required of him in this fight. But so far, he is holding up. He's staying punch for punch. It's just impossible to know, Al, how the judges are scoring those inside exchanges there. Good 1-2 scoring by Castillo on the left of your screen, the challenger.
The crowd, which is basically pro-Castillo, they're getting into it more and more now, sensing the possibility that their guy is going to win the title.
And there is a genuine concern from Stevie Johnston's corner that their man is not doing enough to make sure that he's defending his title. The one thing we talked about earlier, Al, and who has the edge at the top here, is that the one thing that Stevie does not have is big power. He can accumulate punches over the course of a fight and win a war of attrition, but he does not have that big one-punch knockout power, or even that kind of one combination knockout power.
Right, and especially in round 9 of a 12-rounder.
there by Castillo. You saw Johnston coming after him, and Castillo dug down and fought back and backed him up, and now Castillo is really fighting on hard, Al. You see both men fighting on hard.
And again, a round ends with a great flurry, as did round 8. Round 9 ends in the same fashion.
And you see,
we'll say,
you look at the body language of Stevie Johnston.